Hello, friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Elliot, and whether you're a writer, a reader, or a lover of words, I invite you to stop what you're doing and join me for a page break. This video is coming to you from the 2022 annual conference of the American Library Association. We're at the Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. I'm so happy to be here today to talk to you a little bit about the ALA event and to show you around a little bit, show you some things that are going on here at the American Library Association conference. We're at the Washington, D.C. Convention Center. This is the biggest site and the biggest event for librarians and librarian staff all across the country. So we have librarians that are here from colleges and universities. They are here from public libraries. They are here from hospital libraries, anywhere that has a library on site in your community or town or school, both public and private as well. They're here at the American Library Association conference. And this is really a big deal because this is the first time the conference has been back together in person since 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic. So there's been a lot of excitement, a lot of energy here at the ALA event that has been really a lot of fun. And really, there's a couple things that go on here at the ALA event if you're not familiar with it. There are panel sessions and workshops that are going on a different part, a different level of the conference center here in Washington, D.C. And then I'm in the book exhibitor, book fair part of the festival, which is a lot of fun. And I can't wait to show you a little bit about what's going on here and how this is a great way for authors and publishers and readers to connect, both librarians and those folks that are just here being patrons and kind of visiting everything that is here. But this event has got speakers and panel presenters. There's a lot of librarians that are speaking here. There's a lot of work that is being done within the ALA on things like digital literacy, teaching literature, both in high schools and in college and in elementary schools and middle schools, ways to impact and inspire students to read and to be better readers as they go through their educational career. There's really been a lot of top tier authors that have also been here participating in the event. A lot of them have been here at the exhibition hall where I am right now, and they have been signing books, either books that have recently come out or books that have come out or getting ready to come out later on in the summer or early fall of 2022. So, for example, R.L. Stine was here today. R.L. Stine, a famous children's horror writer. You've probably read some of his books, or your kids probably have, or someone you know in your family has. He was here doing a book signing. It was so crowded. There were so many people here, they ran out of books within the first 15 minutes. So he was immensely popular, very, very successful book signing. In addition to that, Brian Freeman, who is a New York Times best-selling thriller writer, he was here today as well, promoting his latest Jonathan Stride novel. If you're familiar with that storyline or that thriller series, he was here. His new book comes out in July of 2022. So just a lot of things going on here, both educational programming, but the book exhibitor and the book fair is really, really fantastic and really, really neat. And that's where I am right now. So I'm going to pan over here to a little bit just to kind of show you the setup of how this works and how the exhibition hall works. And you'll see as we pan over here that you have a lot of booths and a lot of vendors that are participating here. In fact, the booth that I am in is in Ingram Publishing and Ingram Content Group, which is one of the largest bookstore distributors of books to the trade or to bookstores and libraries. I'm sitting at their booth right now, and you can see they have a lot of things set up on both sides of their booth, and it's an opportunity for librarians and patrons to have an opportunity to interact with authors, to speak with representatives of these titles that are represented here. And if you are an exhibitor or a librarian, you can even snag some free copies. And I'll show you in just a few minutes some of the free copies that I was able to pick up. So I'm just going to pan over here to the other side. And this is another area. This is another section. I talked about the Ingram Publishing Group. You can see there their banner that is high up on the ceiling there. And you can see that they have a lot of patrons going by. They have a lot of book publishers like Scholastic and Grove Atlantic that are also located near their booth. So you get a chance to see that they have a lot of their titles represented here. You get to see a lot of people milling about and getting a chance to talk to the representatives of these publishing companies and have a chance to see what is being published, what has been published recently, what is forthcoming with a lot of the books that they have being produced by their publishing companies. So it's really, really a great opportunity for librarians and people that work with books and curate books to get copies of things that they need. And I mentioned that you have a chance to get a lot of advanced copies and get a lot of preview copies if you're one of the attendees. I've been here this week signing copies of my thriller novels, A Knife's Edge and A Final Call. So I've been able to do that. That was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed that. But I also was able to snag a couple of copies of some books that I'm really, really excited to read, and I can't wait to share with you. This first one is a nonfiction book that is coming out by Bill Schaefer. It's called The Scandalous Hamiltons. It is based on a true story involving a Gilded Age scandal involving the great-grandson of Alexander Hamilton, the famous founding father, first Secretary of Commerce, first Secretary of Banking for the United States. And it's a story about how he was duped into marriage, the great-grandson of Hamilton was, by a beautiful and scrappy prostitute whose criminal exploits and sordid lives were gobbled up by America's fledgling tabloids. So I love history, as you know. I like to read a lot about history, and I can't wait to read this. I had a chance to meet Bill Schaefer and talk with him about the book, and I even got my book signed. How about that? So that's one of the benefits of attending this kind of an event is you get to talk to the authors if you're an attendee and get a chance to get your book signed and ask some questions. Another book I can't wait to read is another nonfiction title. This is called What the Fact? Finding the Truth in All of the Noise. And this is by Seema Yasmin. And I had a chance to talk with Seema while he was here. And this is a book about anyone who gets information online, offline, if you get your news from social media, if you get your news from Facebook or from Twitter, from Instagram, and it really talks about what are facts. How do we know if information is factual? How do we know if the information we're getting is quality and credible? How do we know if what we're getting is really the truth? And how do we sort of disseminate that? And I know there's a lot of discussion about that going on. And I know journalism schools and folks interested in that and working journalists today are really dealing with a lot of those issues. So this was an opportunity. I got to talk to Seema and get a chance to speak with her. And it was really great to talk to her about this book, why she wrote it. So I'm really looking forward to reading that and also reviewing that for you on a future program as well. I was able to pick up a couple of other books that I'm really excited to read. This one is a young adult book that I was able to snag. It's called For the Road by K.J. Riley. Now, K.J. Riley was not here, but Simon & Schuster was their publisher, and they have a huge booth just over behind me here on the other side of the exhibitor hall. But this is a young adult book that is coming out in August. And it deals with a character named Asher Hunting who wants revenge. He wants revenge on the drunk driver who killed his mom and was able to get off on a technicality. And so you can see Asher is the little boy right here. And these are the three friends that help him try to get the revenge or get his revenge on the person who killed his mother, the drunk driver that killed his mother and was somehow released on a legal technicality. So I haven't read some really good YA fiction in a while, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this and sharing a review for you on a future program. So this American Library Association event, as I mentioned, there's over 550 exhibitors here at the book festival, and they are publishers, they are university presses, there are small presses, and everybody is here just sort of interacting and engaging and chit-chatting and talking with one another and having a chance to get to see everything that is going on. I'm going to pan around here. I'm going to do sort of a 360 pan just to show you a couple of small presses that are here. You can see Anik Press is over here in the corner just behind me here. They've had a lot of books and authors at their booth over the last few days, but this is basically how the setup works. You come if you are an exhibitor, if you're an attendee, if you're a librarian or you're a patron who's come to the festival, you basically come, you go over to the booth. There may be some free books available to you that you're able to get. And then you also have an opportunity as well to talk with the publisher representatives that are there and a chance to interact with them. Now, one thing I will say that I've noticed that has gone on here as well, if you are a writer or an author, I've seen a lot of people walking around the exhibitor hall over the last few days with manuscripts or copies of books that they have published. And one of the things that goes on here that you may be unaware of, and if you go to any really book festival, a mega book festival like this, like Thriller Fest, or if you go to Left Coast Crime, if you go to like the Texas Book Festival or the Tucson Book Festival in Arizona, one of the things that you'll notice is you'll see a lot of people walking around with copies of their book kind of clutched to themselves or turned out, facing out, or they will have copies of like a bound manuscript in their hand. And what are they doing? Well, I had a chance to talk to a couple authors who did not want to come on the program and be on camera, but they did tell me that they are here looking for a publisher for their latest work. Now, this isn't technically a pitch session here. None of that is really going on. There's not really any literary agents here per se, but most of these publishing houses have representatives with connections to the company, small and large. So there are representatives from Ingram, Simon & Schuster. I talked about Annick Press a moment ago. Our Kids Books is over here. You might have seen their booth just a second ago. So there's representatives from those companies here talking about their books and marketing their books. And so a lot of authors have been going around and showcasing their titles to other publishers. Maybe it was self-published. Maybe they have decided to move on from their current publisher of record. They're looking for a new publisher for their next book. And so they kind of go around and talk about their book. They pass out information to the different publishers and talk about their book. Or if they've got a bound manuscript, they have a chance to talk to someone and say, hey, look, you know, I've finished a book on this kind of thing, and I understand you're a publishing house that deals in this genre or deals with this kind of book, and I'm interested in maybe developing a relationship with you. So a lot of networking going on in that way as well. It's more than just librarians kind of interacting and engaging with publishers and attending sessions and things like that. You've got a lot of authors and a lot of writers, both novice and experienced, that are here building their network and building their networking capabilities and interacting with publishers. And so I've seen a lot of business cards getting exchanged, a lot of drafts of manuscripts getting exchanged. So it's really, really been a great event. I've had a great weekend here in Washington, D.C. I haven't been to DC in a long time, so it's been fun to get here. And I've never been to this conference before. So I had a great time signing my own books, but also interacting with other writers and librarians and getting to know people and getting a chance to develop those relationships. And so I too passed out a lot of flyers and received a lot of information back along my journey as well. So it's a great event, the ALA, American Library Association Annual Conference. It happens every year in June. This year it was in Washington, D.C. It'll be back in person again around this time in 2023. So again, if you're a writer, if you're a publisher, if you are looking for an opportunity to kind of showcase your work, I would highly recommend coming and at least spending one day at the ALA conference, at least coming down to the exhibit hall, where you've got over 550 publishers and distributors and people who love books that are here marketing and talking about their books and also showcasing their work. So it's a great opportunity for networking and sharing. So I hope you enjoyed this video as we come to you from Washington, D.C. and the American Library Association Conference. If you like what you've seen, if you're a first-time visitor to the channel or you've watched a few other things, please like the subscribe button, which I think is over here, if I get my hands right, over here in the bottom right-hand corner. All my social media profiles, handles are over here. The other left over... let's see, over there we go. Over there, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So please let me know if you've watched, and if you have any comments, or if you'd like more information about the American Library Association. I can put you in contact with the people who organize the festival, who are in charge of the book fair, and I'd be happy to facilitate a conversation if you're interested in that. So thanks for stopping by the channel. Stay well, and see you someplace soon, I hope. I'm done. Just click stop recording.
How did you get all these?
Did I click stop recording?
Yeah, I guess.